Hey, this is Ben Schofield covering a brief history of 2D animation. 2D animation is a technique of photographing successive drawings/models to create an illusion of movement. William Horner invented the zoetrope in 1833. The device was a cylinder with a series of pictures on the interior that, when viewed through slits while it was spinning, create an illusion of movement. The phenakistoscope was a contraption that used a spinning disc with images painted around the edge that was slightly different, so that when it was spun around, it created an illusion of movement. It was invented in 1841 by Joseph Plateau. In 1868, John Barnes Linnet created a flipbook, which he called a kineograph. It was a book with a slightly different image on each subsequent page, so that when you flicked through, you saw an animation. This was the first type of 2D animation that used a linear sequence of images as opposed to circular devices. The zoetrope successor, the praxinoscope, was similar to the zoetrope, but the slits were removed and an interior circle of mirrors were placed for the user to view. This adaptation resulted in a clearer image. It was invented in 1877 by Emile Reynaud. Thomas Edison's kinetoscope had perforated film, which possessed a series of images, going over a light source with a high-speed shutter. It was designed for films to be viewed by one person through a peephole at the top. It was presented in 1894. In 1915, rotoscoping, a technique where animators trace over footage for each frame, was developed. Although the technique is now used digitally, originally it was projected onto frosted glass, then redrawn. Rotoscoping creates a cartoon look. It was created by Max Fleischer. Drawn on film is a technique where the animator draws onto blank film. Alan Lie was one of the first to use this, and along with many other techniques, created his work. Earl Hurd was the first to use a technique where a background image was drawn onto a sheet for a particular scene, then used on other cells. A celluloid sheet of transparent material where objects and images are drawn onto, to reduce the time and cost of production. The outline of the images is drawn onto the front and the colour on the back in order to hide brush marks. These cells may then be put into strips in order to be compatible with a projector. Cell animation was developed in 1914. Steamboat Willie is renowned for being the first fully sound-synchronized cartoon to utilize a soundtrack which was produced after the animation. However, it was not the first cartoon containing sound. Inkwell Studios had already produced 7 sound cartoons, but theirs were not fully synchronized. Also, about 1 month before, Paul Terry released Dinner Time, which also used a soundtrack, but this was not a financial success. Terry Gilliam started his career as an animator and strip cartoonist. During the production of Monty Python, he used cutout animation since it was the quickest and easiest form of animation he knew. Matt Stone and Trey Parker were fans of Monty Python and adapted the cutout technique. Construction paper and stop-motion cutout animation were used in the original shorts and in the pilot episode. However, to save on time and money, later episodes were computer-generated. Animation is used in various forms. Some examples are video games, cartoons, films, and advertisements. One film, The Iron Giant, used computer-generated imagery since the animators working on the film found it difficult to draw a metal object in a fluid manner. Today, 2D animations are made using computer software to save on time and money. There are 2 types of image, bitmap and vector. Bitmap images consist of a grid of pixels. This means that the closer together and the smaller the pixels are, the clearer the image will be. If you were to enlarge a bitmap in the image, the quality of the picture would decrease as each individual pixel becomes visible, creating a blurry effect. Vector images, on the other hand, are formed by mathematical equations which create a series of points connected by straight lines and curves. The quality of a vector image will never change. Flash is a multimedia platform used to create vector graphics, animations, and games that can be played in the Adobe Flash Player. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is an example of a Flash animation.